everyone, and welcome to Vinyl Obsession, the podcast. We're at the Record Parlor in Los Angeles, California with Green Day co-founder Mike Dirnt, who just picked out his top 5 vinyl. And we're going to take a deep dive into his picks on Vinyl Obsession, the podcast. Hey everybody, welcome to Vinyl Obsession. I am Eric Young, and this is Mike Dirnt from Green Day. Mike Dirnt is the co-founder, bassist, and backing vocalist for the Hall of Fame rock band Green Day. Mike has also written the lyrics for multiple songs for the band. A side story from this, I was creepily following you around the record store, listening to you go through. I can listen to you talk about music all day. Green Day was one of the first albums that I bought with my own money after having my first job, Green Day Dookie, and Back to Odelay, and the Weezer Blue album. So that was super cool listening to you going through and listening to kind of the first albums that you bought. Today, we came in here to the Record Parlor, gave the impossible task of picking out your top 5 favorite albums, and I want to go through that, break it down, really get into it. So in no particular order, pull them out of the bag and let's go through it.
You said the impossible task. You're not kidding. Because once you reach the stratosphere, I feel like there gets a point where music, either a live performance or an album or whatever, it's not that, musicians always want to be the best in the world or the biggest in the world. It doesn't get bigger or better. It just doesn't get any better. Yep. And that's the stratosphere for me. And these records have all hit that, yeah.
Vinyl number 1.
Except for maybe one, which made it all the way to Mars. Again, I feel like everybody knows this record. So for those of you who already know it, it's like, yeah, duh. For people who don't, for kids that maybe don't know this record, this is a perfect record. First of all, apparently they recorded, everything was like 1 or 2 takes. So the musicianship is unbelievable. I want to say his name right, Trevor Boldner, I think, the bass player. Get out of here. Oh my God. Just so absolutely perfect. The songs, everything you could imagine. If you can imagine a perfect rock and roll soundtrack without a movie.
Right.
The movie they had, there's a movie that was the last show that he did, but the record really is the movie. And your mind is the movie.
Yeah, it's kind of like a rock opera.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. The narrative in there is as strong as any you'll ever see for any record ever. And then you have then you have David Bowie, who is one of the greatest musicians of all time.
Yep. And push the envelope in every way possible.
Every way.
Thought, looks, lyrically.
Yeah, I mean, you have certain musicians that are, they're beyond 1 in a billion.
Yep.
And generationally, you have these musicians. And I'm just really blessed to have lived on the planet at the same time as David Bowie. I never said a word to him, but we played a show together and we were hanging out in the hallway and we were both dressed to the nines. It was, every once in a while you're in a place where you're like, I'm in a very cool spot right now and this is a very cool place to be. And I looked across the way and he looks at me and I looked at him and he goes, and like this is cool, isn't it? And I was like, absolutely.
No words needed.
All he could do is nod.
Yeah.
That was enough.
That's amazing.
Sometimes you don't need words.
There's
you always need music.
A really weird quote from that in this write-up that I read, and I'm going to butcher it, but it was an androgynistic bisexual hero from outer space sent to Earth to save it from impending doom. And it's like, I don't even know what that means, but it sounds awesome. Like if I would have read that when I was a teenager, I would have had to have listened to it.
Well, he accomplished his goal. He saved rock and roll.
Right, right.
And he was such a smart musician. He knew, okay, this is so good, it has to end.
Right.
It has to end here, and now I have to go be David Bowie.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's just, it takes the
instinct of that.
Musical instinct and intelligence that is very rare. So, beyond rare.
Thank you, David Bowie.
This record, it was fire, period. End of story. And it was so good that Tim and Jesse made a decision.
One and done.
Yeah.
This is Vinyl Obsession, the podcast. We're back with Green Day's Mike Dirnt.
And on that, wow, the very next one I pull out.
Vinyl number 2.
You want to talk about musical instinct and intelligence and knowing when to stop.
Yep.
This album by Operation Ivy. Operation Ivy Energy is they're on the same label as us. This one's a reprint from Hellcat Records, but originally it was on put out on Lookout Records.
Yep.
And that was the same label that Green Day was, that we put our records out on, our early records. And it just happened to be that some of our favorite bands were on our label. It was a moment, and it was sizzling hot. It was highly undocumented, except for the records, which made people hold them very close to their heart and to their collection. And so much so to where, we eventually, a few years back, Green Day and the people from our scene made a documentary called Turn It Around, the history of East Bay punk. And one of the big characters in that is Operation Ivy.
Together feel alive, unity, black and white, stand together feel alive.
Two of the members ended up going on to create Rancid, which is Tim Armstrong and Matt Freeman.
Another great punk band.
Yeah. I mean, and just Tim Armstrong is a great songwriter. He has I don't think anybody does ska, really rock and ska better than him.
Yep.
And Matt Freeman, I mean, he's like the punk rock John Entwistle. He's just amazing.
Yep.
That said, this record was so, I don't even know how to put it. It was fire, period. Yeah. End of story. And it was so good that that Tim and Jesse made a decision. They're like, it's not what it used to be.
Yep.
I don't know where we go from here, and I don't know if I want to keep doing this.
One and done.
Yeah, it was a one and done, and
beautiful and sad.
Yeah, I mean, Jesse, even to the degree where Jesse even did the cover art, it's just, it pops. Everything about this thing pops, and I could listen to this record 1,000 times in a row and not be tired of it. Melody,
we're in lockstep
intelligent
on that.
Lyrics.
Yep.
And unity all over this record. When you hear this record, you want to put your arm around your friend and you want to just start dancing, pogoing, running around, doing your thing.
Yep. Awesome choice for a top 5. Vinyl number 3.
Here's one. I think Beck Mutations. I stumbled on this record. Didn't even own a copy of Odelay. I just knew I liked what he was doing.
Yep.
And was floored because I'm like, what the hell is this?
Singular.
Yeah. Very much so. And it was a moment. You could tell it was a very, very inspired moment. Come to find out later on, David Campbell is Beck's father, and he's an arranger. And because I was thinking, how can he have this amount of knowledge for all these different instruments he would bring in and everything else and orchestration? And it makes sense because he grew up in a household where, hey, I'm learning about these things all the time. His dad is an amazing arranger. He did the strings on Time of Your Life. He's done stuff for Redundant. He's done stuff on our new record, Saviors. So just a phenomenal piece. And I guess he recorded quite a short time. I mean, I think he had time off between tours. And I want to say he threw this thing down in like a month or something.
Wow.
And it's just... he knew what he wanted at the time.
Yep.
And that's a sign of a really, really great, strong songwriter, musician. So There you go. This was making a statement. And that's the statement with this record that I get off of that is, we're here for the long haul.
Right.
And they proved it more than anyone ever.
Welcome back to Final Obsession, the podcast. Today we have Green Day's Mike Dirnt talking about his top 5 vinyl. Vinyl number 4.
This one.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. First of all, this is an original, so I got to pull this out of here.
Yep.
Check this out. They put the real zipper on there. I think story has it they commissioned Andy Warhol to make this album cover.
Yep.
Which I didn't know any of the stuff till way after. The reason I bought it was because, you know, my mom and dad used to play the Stones all the time. I always loved it. It's the first Stones record I ever bought. And to this day, I think it's one of the best sounding ones ever. But that's not Mick Jagger's piece on there.
Just some model with
Folklore
tight
has a
pants.
lot of different people holding that piece. Congratulations, whoever it was. But it's just you know, you could almost grab any Rolling Stones record to get as a starter pack.
Yep.
But this one to me, Brown Sugar was something I'd never heard, and I recorded it off the radio when I was at a time where, you know, on my little boombox, and I just remember thinking, God, I've never heard anything like this. And then it goes from there into just this really bluesy rock and roll record that's attainable.
Yep.
You know, Sway, the dun 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 dun, and then right into deep melody. There's so many great things on this. It's a record I don't have to think about. I could just put it on and feel.
Put it on and listen all the way through. Yeah.
So,
for me, part of what I love about vinyl, and that when I bought that, I saw the one in a record store flipping that had the zipper, and I was like, I have to have this. Yeah. And it was just like one of those finds, hunting and gathering, and listening to the whole thing is the best part of the experience.
And I mean, you also have to think about the time in which this record was put out, how dangerous that was. And I'd go so far as to say also that this is directly after the Beatles broke up. Right, so you've got this was making a statement, you know, and that's the statement with this record that I get off of that is we're here for the long haul,
right?
And they proved it more than anyone ever.
Still making amazing music.
Still making great music. Their new record is
amazing.
Great.
It's amazing.
You know,
it's amazing.
Return to form, and it's
maybe unfair. I can't play music. What I know about it is that I love it, and the fact that they're still making amazing music is unbelievable.
That's the definition of passion.
Yeah.
You know, and doing what you love. It's hard work, and it's stressful, but the payoff is the drug.
Yeah.
When you create a great record, that is a feeling of satisfaction, and it's scary, you know, to put things out there that are vulnerable or meaningful to you, and then throw it to the wolves and let them tear it apart. You know, because a lot of people, that's all they want to do is poke a hole in it. But but other people's opinions don't matter as much as that feeling of knowing that you created something that's going to mean something to somebody else as much as it means to you. So
that's a beautiful point. I never thought about that, the Beatles breaking up and them saying, we're still the Rolling Stones, and we're going to be here for a while.
Yeah, I mean,
this is a cool way to think about it.
I believe, I can't remember, I think this was post Bowie too, Ziggy. I can't remember if it's right on the cusp there though.
Yep.
So my bass lines, I'm always looking for something funny or to get that dark part of it. You know, if the song's really happy, I want to write something that also says that these are the tears of a clown.
Welcome back to Vinyl Obsession, the podcast. We're taking a look at Mike Dirnt's top 5 vinyl picks.
Okay, number 5.
Vinyl number 5.
And last but not least. This is a band, the Midwest was really influential to my band. You had all this cool stuff coming out of there. And it not only was good music, but it was cool.
Yeah.
You know, you had Soul Asylum, you had Husker Du, you had the Replacements. But to me, the aesthetic of the Replacements, here's a bunch of guys just wearing jeans and beat up tennis shoes and like flannel shirts, and they looked like, I think part of it was also because, you know, Tommy Stinson was so young when he started in the band and stuff too. It looked relatable.
Yeah.
But you know, listening to their records, it was like it sounded like something we could do, just like, you know, and it was also like, it was cool. This was a side of things that was like more the songwriter side of things for me. We weren't always accepted in the punk scene because we were singing about girls. Well,
right.
We were 15, 16 years old.
Yep.
What else did I know about?
Yep.
You want me to sing about how to make a fried bologna sandwich? I'll sing it. I don't think it'll hit as hard. You know, when you're a kid, you sing about what you know about,
yep.
or what you want to know about, you know, observational. But this had a reverence, and this record to me was, you know, it sounded so good.
Yeah.
It had high highs, low lows, vulnerability. It had devil may care, like just, yeah, everything you want to throw down. And I don't know, for me, rock and roll, like you have to, there's danger, and then there's danger with vulnerability. And to me, that's even more dangerous.
Yeah.
Because you are, you're going, I'm not only am I going to go to battle, I'm going to go to battle with no armor on.
Yep.
And that's again, that's a testament to, like, you know, 3 or 4 chords in the truth.
Yep.
So, and that's what we're looking for. That's what good music and good lyrics will say the things we maybe can't say or we're thinking. It'll also give you the courage to try it yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
Is that maybe the big thing that drew you to music? Is like maybe not having that voice or not knowing how to say it, and then hearing people say the things that you're thinking?
No, for me, it's funny because I came in on more just a musical side of things.
Yep.
I wanted to be a comedian, you know, but I like the humor in it. And so my bass lines, I'm always looking for something funny or to get that dark part of it. You know, if the song's really happy, I want to write something that also says that these are the tears of a clown. You know, this is funny, this is fun song,
yep.
but it's also got a dark element to it.
Yep.
Or if it's a dark song, I want to put hope on the bass line, you know, or something like that, where I can put an emotion in my song within the song.
Yep.
And I think that's what drew me to it. And then in songwriting, you know, there's times where I can say things that are very poignant. You know, Billy writes the majority of the songs and the lyrics, but there's been times, you know, whether it's a song like JAR, where I was able to write about my best friend that passed, and it means a lot, but it says something to other people that are hearing it as well.
Yep.
That he's still giving as we are. You know, and then there's a song like Longview where it's just like, this is me strolling down the street with my hands in my pockets,
yep.
you know, doing my own little thing. And while, you know, what's my hand doing in my pocket? Well, the song's about masturbation. You know, it's just fun.
Yeah.
Finding the fun, finding the humor, finding the anger.
And it can be all those
sometimes
things.
I want to write a bass line that expresses I want to punch someone in the face right now.
Yep. And you can say that musically.
Yeah, you really can. I mean, I don't play with my fingers, partly because I started playing guitar first, and secondly, because I don't think I could get the aggression out that I need to get out for the style of music that we're playing.
Yep.
With my fingers.
Yep.
It's just not going to happen. You know, there's a, you know, I can't imagine anybody playing Panic Song off of Insomniac with their fingers.
Right.
Not going to happen.
It's not hitting hard enough.
Well, they're not going to go.
Right.
I mean, maybe if you're playing with all 3 or 4 like Entwistle.
Yeah. Right.
But it's going to be, you're basically a flamenco bass player at that point.
New album's coming out. I know you said obviously they're going to be pressed on vinyl because everyone's doing vinyl now. Exciting for you. Tell us about it.
Oh, on the vinyl side, I mean, we're pressing more vinyl now than
ever
than we have in years. I mean, there will be a lot, and I love it because then you get it's the full picture. But this record, say about 2 years ago, we probably had about 5 songs that I felt were really good, you know, and we just talked about it and said, let's forego touring in 2023 and really focus on writing a record,
Yep.
I think the idea was to try and write an essential record for Green Day. I think this album right now is arguably, I know you're supposed to say it, but hands down, it's one of the best things we have ever made.
That's exciting, man.
It's a top shelf record.
Yeah.
And I think it's very essential. So Saviors I can't wait for everyone to hear it. What do the kids say? It's a banger.
It's a banger. Yeah, I think that sounds cool.
Feels weird me saying that. The kids are allowed to say it, but I'll stand behind it.
Mike, this was awesome. It's an unbelievable top 5, man. Some interesting ones.
Yeah, it's like any given Sunday, right? This whole thing could change. It's a stratosphere. There's top 5, and but they will never leave the stratosphere.
Guys, I'm Eric Young. He's Mike Dirnt. He's obsessed. I'm obsessed. And now, so are you.